and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen. Now I'd like to invite Libby Tigner forward for our open and affirming moment.
Pastor Dave asked me to speak about next Sunday's vote on the adoption of the open and affirming statement that's been approved by our Board of Stewards. And I want to talk first very briefly about some logistics. The meeting will take place immediately after the worship service. We'll go to coffee and fellowship time after the vote is completed. There will be a Zoom option, so if you're not able to be here next Sunday, contact Pastor Susie, and she will get you the link that's for that. The voting will be by anonymous prepared paper ballot that just says, shall we adopt the statement, yes or no? And the folks who are on Zoom will be able to vote by a poll that pops up on the Zoom in the Zoom screen. And a reminder that all we are voting on, if you still have a copy of the open and affirming statement and the background information, and there's copies in the narthex, we're only voting on what's in this box. This is all background information. So it's just these three sentences right here, which say simply, Bayshore Church hereby declares itself to be an open and affirming congregation of the United Church of Christ. We welcome into the community, membership, and leadership of our church all persons, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. And then we do a little throwback to the 1960s when we adopted previous statements and say, we also reaffirm our welcome to anyone who may seek solace, fellowship, or participation in our church life without regard to race, ethnicity, nationality, religious background, ability, age, marital status, or any other particularity of their humanity. Now, throughout this whole process, the one question that we've heard repeatedly is, why do we have to take this vote when we are already open and welcoming of all persons? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, right now, people in the community, people in the United Church of Christ only know that we are not an open and affirming congregation. If you go to the UCC website to find a church, you'll see Bayshore and all the details, and it'll say ONA:no. And there's a box in the search, if you're looking for a congregation, that you can click that says ONA only. So if someone is looking for an ONA church and they click that box, Bayshore won't even show up at all. Friends of mine and other UC churches asked how in the world Gail and I could join Bayshore when it wasn't open and affirming. And it's because I already knew this church, and I knew the pastors, and I knew a lot of the people, that I knew that it would be a good fit for us. But if I didn't already have that information, I wouldn't have known that. Let me tell you a little bit of my story. I grew up in a conservative church. My dad was the minister. All the signage and messaging in all of the churches that he led included the phrase, all are welcome. But as I grew older and came to understand myself as gay, I knew that I wasn't welcome. As a young adult, when I became tired of not being able to be my true self at church, I left that church and started looking for a place where I could fully belong. I tried a lot of churches. I had a lot of disappointments. I felt a lot of shame. And I came to believe that I just wasn't acceptable to God. I just gave up. But then one day, someone pointed me toward a UCC congregation that was open and affirming. Knowing that, I didn't have to worry if it would be safe space. Their public, open, and affirming stance told me that it would be before I even set foot in the building. And it was there that I came to understand that even as a gay person, I was loved and acceptable to God. I found my home. And that's why it's important that we take this vote, so that no one ever has to wonder if they're going to be safe, accepted, and embraced if they come to Bayshore Church. We already say we're open and welcoming, then let's make it known to the public that we are that we are within these walls who we know that we are. I didn't say that right, but you got the point. It is not possible to overstate how important it is that you are here and engaged next Sunday. While the O&A committee did the background work and the Board of Stewards approved the statement, this vote will be something that expresses the heart and the soul and the intent of the entire congregation. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. This is our public statement to the community, to other churches in town, to the denomination, and to every gay, trans, or non-gender conforming person who is looking for a safe and welcoming church home. I hope you'll all be here, either in person or on the Zoom call next Sunday, right after church. It matters a lot. Thank you.